Well, good morning, good afternoon or good evening whenever you're watching this video. If you haven't seen me before, or you have, welcome back to my bike adventures. So what are we doing today? Well, had a bit of a change of plan. I was going to go out tomorrow because it was actually meant to be a nice day tomorrow, but I've got a new bike coming tomorrow, so unfortunately the window they gave me was a 12-hour window from between 8 in the morning and 8 at night. So Bango's filming for tomorrow. So what we're doing today is I'm going to give you my full rundown and final thoughts on the bike I'm on, the Ovia from Cyrusher. But before we get into that, yes, I'm wearing a coat, yes, I'm wearing a jumper, and it's cold. We're in the middle of summer. It's June the 13th, and well, in 7 days' time will be the longest day, and then from that point on we will our nights will be drawing in and our days will be getting shorter once again. And this and today it's 12 degrees, and but the wind chill puts it under 10 degrees. I so hate UK weather. I feel like I need to move. Arizona, Texas, California. But I'm not going to, so I'll have to just suck it up and deal with it, essentially. Anyway, so what I'm doing today, because obviously I had to change of plans right at the last minute because I only got word this morning that a new bike is arriving tomorrow, so I had to quickly change plans. So we're going to head off down by the canal. I've bought nothing special. I bought a disposable barbecue, and I bought some other bits and pieces with me that I can have a bite to eat while I'm there. Hard to believe I drank water from that canal, but it tasted good. So yeah, I've ridden the Ovia now for a week, and I think I can pretty much give an honest opinion. So the bike I've got at the moment, it's restricted. It does have a 750 watt motor on the back, but it's restricted to 250 watts, which conforms to the UK law, and a maximum top speed of 15 miles an hour. Now, there are ways to de-restrict the bike, but today I'm not going to be bothering with any of that, because this is about talking about a road legal bike. Now, yes, I have put the throttle on, which doesn't conform to the UK law, but as some of you know, some of you may not know, I suffer with COPD, which is a lung condition. So I'm not trying to say I'm above the law, but I do need a little bit of assistance sometimes going up hills. So hence the reason. But I'm not some 14-year-old lad who's ragging it around the streets, seeing how fast I can go around people. Right, let's see what this we're going to go down a little ways down here. But yeah, my apologies for last week's video. It was only meant to be a first impressions of the bike, so when we stop I'll go over the full specs of the bike, and then I'll give you my opinion. Now, the other bike that's arriving tomorrow is another Ovia, and I've been in talks with Cyrusher, so they're going to send me another Ovia, and apparently this one will be able to be registered as a low-powered pedelec or a moped. So I just had to slow down there for those people. So yeah, they're sending me another Ovia, and but as I said, yeah, fly in my mouth. The one that they're sending me tomorrow, I should be able to register it as a low-powered pedelec with a top speed of 28 miles per hour. So essentially, I'm going to be taking you through a journey as to how to register a bike as a low-powered pedelec, because I know some of you, obviously, you don't want to go above the law, and I can totally understand that, and you know, we do need to be sensible. So yeah, I'm going to take everybody, or you know, I'm going to take you all through the process of how to register the bike, etc. So hopefully that will make it much easier for a lot of people to actually, you know, if you can see how I've done it, you'll see how easy it is essentially to register the bike. But anyway, that bike's not arriving until tomorrow, and obviously I need to build it as well. So let's continue on. We're just talking today about this Ovia, which is restricted, as I said. It's got a 750 watt motor on the back, but it's limited to 15 miles an hour. Now, the throttle rule in the UK, which is still a bit silly, but there has been some developments, and a bill was put forward by the government to actually increase the throttle from 3.5 miles per hour, which I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why have a throttle if it can only go 3.5 miles per hour? Well, it's literally just to get you going, just to get you moving. But that's ridiculous, to be honest. So yeah, the bill that has been suggested to have been put forward by the government is to increase the motor size to 500 watts from 250, and to have an accelerator, or throttle, whatever way you call it. And the throttle will be able to go to 15 miles an hour. So it could be a step in the right direction for us here in the UK with regards to e-bike laws, because it is ridiculous, you know. I get the racing cyclists and they're on the road, they pass me doing 40 miles an hour with no motor, and I don't really get why they can do that speed and yet we're restricted to 15 miles per hour. But there's a lot of things in this world that don't necessarily make sense. That was the spot I was going to go to. I might actually go back and turn around, I think. Let's do that. We're going to do that. If there's a metal plate on the bench, then we're good to go. And there is. Right, as normal, we're here. So I'm just going to set up quickly and I'll join you in a bit. Right. Oh, so I am here. And not a lot to set up today because, as I said, just going to make this sort of a relatively easy thing. But obviously, I do need to have a bite to eat and a drink. So I bought myself a disposable barbecue, really cheap and effective. I've got bought some wraps. I bought some chicken, and I've got some salad as well. And I've also brought my OEX Takana solo stove because it's too cold to be having cold drinks today. So we're going to have a nice cup of coffee instead. We'll turn our gas on and get the flame lit. There we go. Put our top on, lid over like so. Right, we'll put that to one side, and I'm gonna light my disposable barbecue and get that going, because that'll take a while for the flames to turn down. Right, that's lit, so we'll just let that do its thing. The wind direction is obviously at its optimum, always blowing smoke across me. Anyway, let's get some ingredients in my cup. As it is cold today, And yeah, I definitely need something nice and warm inside me to warm up. It is terrible though, really, if you think about it. I mean, like I said, it's 13th of June now. Summer should be well underway. Next week's not looking any better. The long range forecast is saying rain every single day, and storm clouds and thunderstorms. Hooray! Gosh, we love summer in the UK. It's so bloody lovely. Bloody marvellous. But yeah, I've ridden the Ovia throughout the week. My initial thoughts was it's like an oversized Komodo. It's obviously the Komodo from Cyrusher is a step through as well. Slightly bigger than the Komodo, and slightly bigger battery, and some other differences as well. But we'll go through those. Anyway, that's me water boiled. Oh, right, let's leave that there. Right, so first things first with the Ovia. This is the rear light that came on the Ovia. And picking the bike up and putting on the rear bike rack last week, it fell off. And I had a look, and I'm a little bit disappointed about this light, although, you know, it's not the end of the world. It is, you know, it wasn't powered by the battery, so it's got its own. I mean, look, the tab's still there for the to remove for the battery. So I haven't actually used this, but yeah, and the reason this fell off was because I'm not really sure how this was put on, to be honest. There's two holes there, and what it looks like, that there's two nuts on the rear of the bike, and actually what it looks like this was forced on over some nuts, because it looks like the plastic. Let me bring this nearer to the camera. But it looks like that plastic was forced to create the hole. So it looks like this was actually pushed on and forced on. Now, tried as I might, I've tried to force it back on, and it won't go back on. So for me at the moment, as I said, it's not the end of the world. There's plenty of rear lights out there that you could, you know, aftermarket lights. And quite honestly, much better lights out there on the market, much brighter. Actually, I mean, I can't really say that, that it's much brighter. But, you know, there's plenty of options out there for aftermarket rear lights. I haven't given up hope on this. I might still try to get it on. But the problem is because it fell off easily, it may well just fall off again, because there's nothing actually really securing it to the bike. Apart from, as I said, it looks like the two bolts were forced into these holes, because it's sort of burred the plastic around it a little bit. But anyway, enough of that. We're not going to worry too much about this. Right, so what can we go over about the Ovia? Well, I suppose I better go over the bike bit by bit with you. So we'll change the camera angle, and we'll talk about the bike. Right, so I don't know if I stand up I might be out of camera shot, so it's probably best that I kneel down here at the moment. Right, so we'll go over the features on the Ovia. So where are we going to start? So we'll start at the back. As I said, we've got a 750 watt motor on the back. It has been restricted to 250 watts, so a maximum speed of the bike out of the box 15 miles an hour. So well within the UK law. On the speed, obviously, on the rear we've got a 7-speed derailleur, rear derailleur on the back. The bike comes with a rear rack as standard, rear fender, front fenders. These are 20-inch by 4-inch wheels. They're puncture resistant as well, so I haven't put that to the test, but you know, I'm going to take their word for it. So yeah, they should be, they're pretty good. We've got a spring-loaded, sorry, not spring-loaded, these are a rear air shock. Not as good as the air shock on the Trax or the Ranger from them, but you know, it's okay. Obviously we got our seat there. The disc brakes, the brake discs rather, they're 180mm brake discs, both front and rear, and obviously they're controlled by the hydraulic, which these are Logan hydraulic disc brakes on the top brake levers, and they also cut out power to the motor when engaged. The bike comes with, in this compartment here, that houses the 17 amp hour 52 volt battery. So that's removable if you so wish, or you can charge the battery on or off the bike. So absolutely no problem with that. Next up, we've got our front forks. These are fully adjustable. On the right hand side, you've got your load setting, and on the left hand side, can we? Yep, that is that. So on the left hand side is a lock in and lock out function, so you can actually lock the suspension if you so wish to. But yeah, on the right hand side, there's full adjustment, so you can make that as strong or as soft as you like, really. You know, it's really just down to each individual. What else have I missed? Oh yeah, the bike comes with these pedals. They fold. As I said in my previous video, this is just sort of kept on by some plastic, and I've not really encountered these pedals before, but I do have some concerns that over time that plastic might get brittle and actually crack, and then if that cracks, this is just going to be, it will be all floppy, and then obviously you're going to need to replace your pedals. But as I said, I don't know how good that is, so I don't want anyone, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions essentially, you know, and say that that's not good enough, because it's the first time I've seen them. I've just got some concerns, that's all. We've got a water bottle holder here, or the screws for one, so you know, that's all good. On the front we've got our big night light, which is powered by the bike, and there's also a switch on the handlebar to turn the lights on and off. And actually, let me just grab the camera and we'll go over the handlebars in a bit more detail. Right, so going from left to right, so we've got our nice ergonomic grips here. So you know, you can rest your palm on those, which are actually really quite comfortable when you're resting your palm across there and holding with your hand just over the brake levers. Next up, we've got our light button and our horn button. If I switch it on, there's the on switches down here. There we go. Now, when that does boot up, you'll always see here that it will say an error, but that's just a startup function. It actually doesn't have an error at all. So it's literally just a startup function. So we've got our lights. If I press that, our light will come on. Let's make sure that so on. There we go. Our lights on and light off. Lights on. Oh, lights off. I sound a bit like Mr. Miyagi. Lights on, lights off. Lights on, lights off. Anyway, enough of being silly. So just below that, we've got our horn, and I'll give that a quick blast. It's a beep. It's quite loud. Next up here, we've got our pedal assist up and down buttons. So as I press these, you'll see this number here changing. 3, 4, 5, and that's it. You've got 5 modes pedal assist, and then pressing it down, 2, 1, and you can even turn it off. So if it's on 0, then there's no pedal assist and the motor is not assisting you in any way. This gives you speed, your mileage, battery. There's a few other functions on here as well, but we won't go in that today. And then obviously we've got our gear selector here. We've got 7 speeds, and we've got our up and down lever there. And then obviously at the back, we've got the other brake lever. Right, so when the bike arrived, this throttle, it wasn't, oh, I shouldn't have, my bike nearly ran away with me. Let's turn that off. So yeah, this throttle, that wasn't on the bike, but it does come in the box of accessories, because obviously some people ride their bikes on private land, off-road, etc., where the UK laws do not apply. So for those people who want to have the throttle on there, they do supply it in the box. And yeah, as I said, I fitted this as well myself. Now these, I prefer these so much more than the thumb throttles. I find the thumb throttles are really not very easy to control as such. Much easier to control a half twist throttle. I always feel like I can get much more precise acceleration from using one of those. The GoPro, that doesn't come with the bike, and nor does the GoPro mount. But yeah, you know, overall, I think this bike would suit many people. Now, you need to be 5'3" minimum height for this bike, and it does say it will accommodate somebody up to 6'6". I'm not sure if I was 6'6", I would be picking a bike like this, but you know, it does take all sorts. This isn't really my style of bike that I like to ride. I much prefer a standard mountain bike frame rather than step through. But you know, it's absolutely fine. But that's just my personal preference as such. Right, so if you did want to, obviously if you've bought this bike and you're using it on private land, off-road, etc., where the laws don't apply, and you want a bit more speed out of this bike, then you can de-restrict it. The controller is hidden behind this panel here. We won't go into details today about how you're going to de-restrict that, but just know that the controller is behind this panel, and the ways to go about de-restricting the bike is through the controller. So the controller's in there. Obviously I haven't de-restricted the bike at all. Its maximum speed at the moment is 15 miles an hour, no matter what I do. So this is totally road legal. It's strange, I've never thought I would have needed a fire pit in the summer. I mean, maybe to cook with, but definitely not to keep you warm. Yeah, this barbecue, I feel like wrapping my coat around it. Oh, it's so cold today. Not what I would call summer anyway. So yeah, I need to, I think next I'm going to get my chicken on the barbecue. Oh, but before that, and also a big shout out to Rainer, who supports the channel. Thank you very much, my friend. I ordered myself a full titanium set of cutlery. Now let me show you this. So it comes with a knife, absolutely perfectly adequate. It's got a nice serrated edge on there, which is actually quite sharp. Let me pull the next bit out. I'm making this much harder than it should be. I've got a spoon for having your desserts or whatever. Oh, come on. Now you're stuck on the inside of the bag. Next out of the bag, I've got a nice fork. So yeah, I mean, these are absolutely, so I've got a knife, fork and spoon, and also for me, the piece de la resistance. I've got chopsticks, titanium chopsticks, and I do like noodles and I do like stir fry. So yes, I will be using these. So thanks, Rainer, for just suggesting that I get some titanium cutlery. And I did a little experiment at home, and would you believe it, this whole lot essentially weighs the same as a fork I was bringing out. So just a standard household fork. This whole cutlery set weighs less than my fork. So yeah, this is a massive weight saving. You know, I know it probably, you know, people think, oh, it's just a fork, it doesn't weigh much. But then when you add up all the things that you take out with you, all these things contribute to extra weight. So weight saving is a big thing for me overall. So thank you, Rainer, for suggesting. Obviously you didn't suggest this particular brand. I did my own research and found these. I think I paid about 12 or 14 pounds from Amazon for these, but you know, brilliant. So thank you, Rainer, once again. I'm really happy that you suggested about the titanium cutlery. Right, our flames have gone on my barbecue. So, well, that's another thing. So with this bike, with the battery included, and for me, it's a bit of a, it's 42 kilos. Now the Komodo with the battery was 32 kilos. There's an extra 10 kilos of weight to this bike. Now, you don't necessarily feel that when you're pedaling. The only time you're really going to feel that is if you need to pick the bike up. So if you're in a position where you had to take the bike up some stairs, maybe, I mean, young people, it'll probably be all right for, but you know, for some elderly people, that might not be, you know, such a viable option. So that is one thing to consider, the weight of the bike. But like I said, when you're riding the bike, you don't feel any of that weight at all. It's, you know, it's absolutely fine. It's literally when you're just picking the bike up, or you know, if you have to pick the bike up. Obviously, you can take the battery out. I believe the battery is between 4.5 and 5 kilos itself, so it's quite a bit of weight. So if you took, oh, excuse me, so if you remove the battery, instantly that's going to make the bike roughly 5 kilograms lighter. So for picking it up, moving and transporting, I would say always remove the battery. But you, like I said before, you can charge the bike. You can charge the battery on the bike, or you can remove the battery completely and charge it elsewhere. Oh, I think I better show you this chicken. Starting to look nice. Gotta say, it's starting to look good. And some of you won't like this, but I think that's what makes a barbecue. A bit of crispiness. So yeah, what else can I sort of say about the Ovia? I mean, obviously the bike's a step through. It would suit those people who've got mobility issues. You know, I mean, all jokes aside, but if you are having trouble getting your leg over an ordinary frame, not your leg over as in general, then obviously a step-through model would be absolutely ideal for you. Personally, I'm not really keen. It's not the style of bike that I like to ride. I prefer to ride standard mountain bike frame. I feel much more comfortable and much more at home on that kind of a bike. But like I said, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this bike at all. You know, absolutely fine, performs well. It's comfortable to ride. I've not done it yet, but on the website it does state the range is from 40 miles to 63. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'm not saying that that's incorrect information, but 63 miles on a 17 amp hour battery. Now, you might well get it if you're in pedal assist 1 only, on a non-windy day, correctly inflated tyres and perfectly flat surface. If you're going to go off-road, if the surface is bumpy, uneven, these things are all going to reduce your range. And obviously riders' weight as well, you know. Now, thankfully, I'm quite slim built, and I only really weigh about 10 to 10.5 stone. So I'm not a heavy person by any means. But obviously, those people who are heavier than me, that weight will have an effect on your overall distance. Let's get me chicken off my skewers. I'm just gonna try a bit. That's really nice. because I would say that, wouldn't I? So yeah, as you can tell, there's several dog walkers around in the area, and dogs love a good barbecue, don't they? You know, they've got taste buds as well as the rest of us, and they can smell good food, you know. Mm. Oh, that's really nice. So, one thing I didn't talk about, and that's the price of the Ovia. Now, originally, when the Ovia came out, it was £2,499, I believe. But don't switch off now. Don't switch off yet. The price has come down massively. But now you can pick up the Ovia, a street legal Ovia, 15 miles an hour with the restricted motor for £1,599. So £1,600 all bar a few pence. Is the bike worth that much money, in my opinion? Now it is, yes. Now it is. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention as well about the Ovia, silly me. And I guess I forgot to mention it because it's not a visible thing as such from the outside. But the Ovia has a torque sensor on the crankshaft as opposed to a cadence sensor. Now, what does the torque sensor do? So the torque sensor on the bike, the harder you push the pedals, the more power is delivered to the motor. But with a cadence sensor, the cadence sensor is just looking at how fast your tires, your pedals are going round. And it's monitoring that. It's monitoring how fast your pedals are going, not how much you're putting into, how much force you're putting into the pedals. So essentially, with the cadence sensor, they can be quite lurchy. They can lurch forward a little bit because you've got this, how can I explain it? Because as soon as the magnet passes a sensor on a cadence sensor, it engages the motor. Now, if you're in a low gear and you've just suddenly done that, you're going to take off at whatever speed. And it can be quite jarring when you're trying to sort of do slower speeds. You need to really modulate the acceleration with your braking a lot more. But with the torque sensor, that doesn't happen at all. You're able to control the bike really well at slow speeds. There's no sudden movement. There's no sudden, excuse me. There's no lurching forward with the bike. So everything is much easier to control with a torque sensor. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that a torque sensor is more efficient on your battery and your motor, or battery really. because it's monitoring your inputs much more closely than the cadence sensor. Now, with a cadence sensor, all I have to do is half a turn on my pedal and the motor will engage. And as soon as I stop pedaling, my motor will still carry on going for half a second to 1.5 seconds. It will carry on once I've stopped pedaling. With the torque sensor, as soon as I stop pedaling, no more power goes to the motor. So there's a lot of unnecessary power used, I believe, with the cadence sensors as opposed to the torque sensors. I hope I've made that clearish. It sounded clear in my head, but right, that's going to wrap it up for another week. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope you like my final thoughts on the Ovia. If you've got any questions about the Ovia, then drop them in the box below. I'm more than happy to answer anything. And if I don't know it, I will contact Cyrusher and find out any information for you. But yeah, as I said, current list price for this bike is £1,599, reduced from £2,499. That's £900 off the bike at the moment. So I'm not sure if that price is going to last or whether it's going to go back up. So, but at the moment, it's £1,599. But yeah, as I said, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you do, then please hit that like and subscribe button and come back for some more. And like I said, yeah, I've got a new bike arriving tomorrow. So we'll be taking a look at that and how to register that as a legal moped in the UK, or low-powered pedelec, as they're also known by. Anyhow, like I said, yeah, please hit that like and subscribe button, and thank you ever so much for watching the video, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.